Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Listen, I'm glad to have you guys here. Now, I'm going to talk about the Chinese is going to be. And we're going to talk first about the Chinese what they wanted to do. They had something that was called their manifest destiny. They had big plans over the last number of years to the rest of the world. And this is their business and trade center that they use as a gateway to the rest of the world. The Chinese. Now, what they were going to do was they were accumulating gold. For many years, there was shipments of gold moving from west to east. They're basically slowly but surely emptying our vaults. At the same time, China has a lot of gold mines, and they produce a lot of gold themselves. Not 1 ounce of gold that they produce was being shipped out of China. It was all being stacked and hoarded by the Chinese. There are rumors of reports out there that China has accumulated as much as 24,000 tons of gold. If that's not a plan, I don't know what is. I believe that this is part of their plan, of their manifest destiny. Also, the South China Sea. Part of their plan was they were building these islands from nothing. Basically, they would go to an area in the South China Sea where there was underwater shoals. What a shoal is like a big giant sandbank that's not real deep, maybe 10 or 12 feet underneath the water. You can see it. It's a light-looking area in the ocean where there's like a shoal. And they would put dredging machines in there, and they would pump the sand up and make an artificial island with these dredging machines. And they are installing military facilities in around these artificial islands that they produced. Now, this must go back about 2 years or maybe 3 years ago. They did a ruling on these artificial islands at the Court of The Hague. And the West decided, that we would have freedom of navigation through that area where these islands didn't exist. The Chinese artificially created these islands. It became a very tense region because it was part of the Chinese manifest destiny. I'm not going to look at this lightly. This manifest destiny was nothing short, nothing less than they wanted world domination. They wanted to create a worldwide kingdom. And they were going to use the financial system. They were going to use the trading systems and trading routes. They were going to establish a trading route that was nothing short of reestablishing the old Silk Road that would go all the way out, and it would connect to Europe. It would connect to Italy. It would be a reestablishment of the Silk Road. And they called this project the Belt and Road Initiative, I think they called it. That was the name for it anyway. And great plans that they had of world conquest, their manifest destiny. Where do we fit in on all of this, all of these plans? Well, gold fit in very heavily into their plan. They're going to use gold, they're going to reestablish a gold standard after they had sucked all of the gold out of the West. Then they would reprice gold, destroy the dollar, and reprice gold. And they would hold all the gold. Because there's an old adage, and you guys have probably heard it before. He who has the gold makes the rules, or something to that effect, anyway. So this was their plan, Well, their plan was like a well-oiled big engine going along. The engine of the Chinese. This well-oiled, great big giant engine. Somebody, that shall go nameless, has dropped a monkey wrench into the works of their engine, into the gears and into the levers of their engine. Somebody has dropped a monkey wrench down in there. And we hear a clack, clack, bang, spring, and springs are flying out, and cogs are coming loose and rolling across the ground right now while we speak. You know what? There's an old saying. The best laid plans of mice and men often go astray. There's another old saying. Many a slip betwixt the cup and the lip. In other words, you're planning on drinking your wine or whatever, and you're pulling it up to your mouth, and just before you get it in your mouth, it's all over your clothes. Well, in their plan, where were we going to be in this plan? We were going to be a subservient nation that would work for the Chinese, ultimately. This was the end goal of their plan, Well, there's been a wrench, like I say, there's been a wrench dropped. But you know what? This wrench dropping into the cogs and the wheels of the economic machine of the world is going to have side effects for us as well. Not just the Chinese. It's going to have side effects. It's going to come back on us. Now, where does cryptocurrency fit in all this? What we're going to go through, go through. Mike Maloney used a descriptive term to describe what we're going to go through. It's the roller coaster crash. He said the roller coaster goes down really fast, and then it goes up the other way, the opposite direction, really fast. In other words, it goes zippity down and then zippity up, like a roller coaster. And that's what this is. We're on an economic roller coaster right now. We're on the side right now of this roller coaster ride where everything's going to go down. The central banks are the lever that's going to make it all go back up. Now, on this downside right here, this is the part I'm worried about for cryptocurrency. Because on this downside, there's a tendency out there to run into gold, silver, and the dollar. These are safe havens that they'll run to. It's almost like if you're out on a golf course, and all of a sudden, by the way, just a day or two ago, this actually happened on a golf course. It struck a great big tree, and they were all underneath the tree seeking shelter. And bang-o! It blew the tree into a giant puff of sparks and everything else and made an awful mess. But, that's what they do. If I've been out golfing a lot of times, when the lightning and thunder comes, they all run to the clubhouse or run. They run. They don't sit there. There's an old thing in the movie Caddyshack, and the old guy was having his best game ever and everything, and I don't know if you guys remember it, and he was out on the course, and he just couldn't quit, and the rain was drenching down, and in the end, he missed the putt or whatever, and he held his fist up, and he screamed at God, and the lightning hit him. Anyway, they all run for the clubhouse or run for safety. And that's what this is on this downside of the roller coaster right now where we're going. They're all going to run to safety. Because Bitcoin's a relatively new asset class, I say relatively new. It started in 2009, but it's only been a very short period of time that we've had just a very short period of time where it's been considered as something that's very valuable and people want to hoard. And they call this hoarding, HODL, right? It's only been a very short period of time. Whereas gold and silver has had thousands of years to become a safe haven asset. The dollar, too, they're very used to the dollar. They love the dollar and everything else. They love it to death, the dollar. Where Bitcoin's new, it's a new asset class and stuff. My tendency is to think when they really get frightened and they run for the clubhouse, and they get really scared, my tendency is to think they're going to drop everything. They're going to drop the clubs on the ground and run. You're going to run into the dollar. You're going to run into gold and silver. I've already proven it. You're seeing gold and silver move up. The dollar, certainly in this kind of environment where the Fed is going to go into super monetary policy of what I call the great print, and still the dollar's staying high. But that's showing there's kind of a double effect going on here with the dollar, where they're not super scared just yet, right? And they're scared enough to start, the very beginning starting for gold and silver, but the dollar isn't shooting up incredibly high because there's massive pressure on the dollar to go down at the same time. Where cryptocurrency stands in all of this is, I believe, in the initial phase of this, when the roller coaster's going down, they could dump cryptocurrency, and dump it rather heavily. But it's going to happen so fast when the central banks react to this roller coaster going down and it goes up the other side. That's when we're going to see cryptocurrency take off along with gold and silver, and that's when we're going to see the real decline in the dollar start. This trade war has only begun to intensify. I believe it's just really getting underway. Is a deal possible? Well, possibly. But I wouldn't hold my breath waiting for a deal at this point. I think it's going to intensify first. It's going to intensify for a period of time. And by the time that they come to a deal, the world is going to be on very shaky ground indeed. I believe in the end they will come to some sort of an arrangement, but only when intense pressure comes on them to come to an arrangement. When both economies are really suffering, and the Chinese economy, I think, is going to suffer more than the United States economy. Okay, so now you know what I think's going on. I think on the other side of this, when the Fed reacts, and all the world's central banks actually react, and they have to flood money and liquidity into the system to support the system, I believe this is when cryptocurrency is really going to take off. And cryptocurrency is going to go into a long, strong, really strong bull run, like nothing you guys have seen before. So there's an opportunity here, guys. This is what I believe. The opportunity is going to be, when cryptocurrency takes a fall, to scoop some of it up. I believe and this is my opinion only, not financial advice. That's what I'm planning on doing, is when it falls down, nobody wants it, scoop some of it up, because on the other side of this, when the world central banks go into the great print, that stuff's going to become really worth a lot of money. Seriously. The crypto. Because ultimately, in the end of this game, I think crypto is going to be one of the most desired assets on Earth. Especially Bitcoin. Listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next show. Bye-bye.